Goeiedag! Good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And you know, I get so many emails from people and comments under my videos saying, why are you so angry and negative about South Africa? Well, I'll tell you why. Because I grew up in a South Africa pre-1994 and I knew what incredible potential that country had. And what I have seen in the last 25 years is that country being ripped apart and destroyed by incompetent, corrupt ANC government officials. Right from the top, from people like Ramaphosa all the way down. They're all members of the Black Privilege Club. Now, a classic example of this is what's happening with South African Airways. We know South African Airways is basically gone to a piece of shit, okay? Because of incompetence at the top. The board, who was supposed to be looking after the state-owned enterprise, were all in it for themselves, creaming off, as they do all over the place with the ANC government. And as I've always said, South African Airways was the canary in the cage, the first state-owned enterprise basically to fall on its sword because it couldn't take it anymore. Well, now that it's under business rescue and things are not looking good, guess what? The fleas from the carcass are looking for other bodies to infest. And I'm talking about two ex-South African Airways CEOs. Yeah, they're black, they're ANC cadres, who've been given positions, prominent positions in other government organizations or companies. Let me tell you more. Now, this is all happening this week. This is hot off the press. The former acting CEO of South African Airways, Zuks Ramasia, has been appointed the new head of the Board of Airline Representatives of South Africa, or Barsa, from April the 17th. South African Airways, which is currently in business rescue, announced last week that Ramasia will go into early retirement in April at her own request. She was just waiting for this to happen, wasn't she? You know, as a cadre, they never miss out. It's like musical chairs. They jump from one to the other. And that's why the chairs disappear, because they destroy them. She is also the chair of the Airline Association of Southern Africa and a director on the board of Aviation Coordination Services. You know why she's a director of the board of Aviation Coordination Services? Because of Triple B, double E. They needed that 51% black equity ownership, didn't they? So come here, young lady, sign here. We will hand over 51% of the company, and we will then be BEE compliant, and you will get us all the business we need because you're in the industry. That's how this scam works. Anyway, let's continue. Ramasia takes over at Barsa from June Crawford, whose term ends in April. Crawford will continue to serve on the board. News of her appointment comes 2 days after Transnet announced that the former interim CEO of South African Express, Sizakele Mzimela, will head up its freight rail operations. The SA Express board on Monday announced that Mzimela would be leaving to pursue other opportunities. Now remember, South African Express is gone under business rescue as well. So as I say, the fleas are jumping off the carcass and they're looking for somewhere else to infest. We'll come back to Mzimela in a second. In her new role at Barsa, Ramasia will provide a voice for local and international airlines operating in South Africa and represent its members on industry forums to deal with matters affecting the industry. The greatest challenge facing the airline industry at the moment is how it will weather the upheaval caused by countries locking their borders and cutting down on domestic travel due to coronavirus pandemic. Now, let's be quite clear. South African Airways went into business rescue before this crisis with the coronavirus, okay? So the incompetence of the CEOs we're talking about here who dragged South African Airways into the shit is self-evident. But they've now landed cushy jobs in other organizations that they can completely stuff up. That's called musical chairs. As Fin24 reported on Thursday, that the International Air Transport Association projects that the impact of the pandemic on the South African airline industry could amount to 10.7 million fewer passengers transported and a loss of 40 billion rand in revenue. Barsa says it's working with all role players in the industry, including Airports Company SA, the ATNS and the Department of Health, to tackle the challenges posed by the pandemic in a coherent manner. According to its chair, Carla de Silva, Ramasia's expertise and years of experience in the industry would ensure that Barsa's involvement in the aviation industry continues to grow. What she's talking about there is cadre connections. It's called black privilege. It's nothing to do with competency. She has proven she's incompetent. She screwed up South African Airways, and yet here she is landing a top cushy job, high paying, so the cadre is happy and the ANC family are being looked after. This is why you call South Africa a gangster state. The ANC politicians are likened to and just perfectly fit in with the mafia. They are a mafia. They are gangsters. Now, let's look at this other South African Airways CEO who's jumped from the flea-infested body, and she's one of the fleas, remember? The Democratic Alliance said they would write to Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan to request information on the appointment of Sizakele Mzimela as Chief Executive of Transnet Freight Rail. The party said her appointment at such a critical state-owned enterprise was bizarre, considering she only had experience in the aviation sector. DA's MP Galeb Kachalia said in a statement on Thursday that the party was concerned with the appointment just days after Mzimela's resignation as acting Chief Executive Officer of South African Express Airways was announced. He said Mzimela's appointment at such a critical state-owned enterprise was bizarre, considering that she only had experience in the aviation sector and lacked the required experience in the freight and rail sector. Kachalia said, the DA is therefore seeking transparency and clarity on the process which was followed to appoint Mzimela, including whether there was a panel that oversaw the appointment process, the criteria for shortlisting candidates, and what the rationale behind Mzimela's appointment was when she has zero experience in this field. But she's an ANC cadre. Musical chairs. She's just jumping from one chair to another. The chair she's jumped from has disappeared because she effed it up. But there's still a few more chairs to go before she runs out of chairs, so she'll be happy. It's called looking after one's own. The MP said Mzimela's appointment was a classic example of African National Congress cadre deployment, where ineffective executives hop from one SEO or SOE to another, or state-owned enterprise to another. Exactly. And it's been going on since 1994. Absolutely incredible. Mzimela's track record at the helm of a state-owned enterprise is dismal, as is evidenced by the fact that her previous employer, SA Express, now faces liquidation, he said. Kachalia said the country's economy had been downgraded to junk status due to the corruption and mismanagement of state-owned enterprises, thus playing a significant role in where we are today. Yet the ANC seems committed to continuing to place party loyalists in prominent positions at the expense of service delivery and our economy, he concluded. Well, the ANC government are destined to fail because of the games that they're playing. And what's happened with South African Airways, where all the fleas are jumping from the carcass now, they're just going to infest these other organizations. But that's what it is. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video. Please share this video. Above all, please stay safe.